Hello and welcome back to Stop and Go F1 for this, our reactions to F1 Academy. And a lot of times in these videos I say often it is a weekend of two halves. So I'm discussing a driver's performance or a team's performance across a weekend. But this weekend, it was a weekend of two halves for F1 Academy in general. On the Saturday, they had what I believe is possibly the greatest race in the history of F1 Academy. On the Sunday, they had no race at all. We'll get into all that and more as we go through this video. Before we do, remember to like and subscribe. And of course, a huge shout out to the members: Dakota, The Joyous J, Robin Myers, Cinnamon Strudel, Michael Johnson, Mr. Eurovision 1986, Philip Doganzik, Flandy Skick, and No Edam on sandwiches. If you want to become a member, click the link in the description down below, either on YouTube or on the Patreon. But let's get into this, starting with that fantastic race from yesterday. Lovely and dry. Emma Felbermeyer on pole, Ferreira alongside. As we get going now, it was a good getaway for Felbermeyer, but Ferreira got hit at the back by Ella Lloyd going into turn one. Lloyd locking up and hit her down there. Lloyd went off, broken front wing, off down on the runoff section of turn one. She was out of the race. Ferreira drops down to sixth. Leah Block, who actually had a very good qualifying, hasn't had a good qualifying in the previous races this year. She's on the outside of all of this, goes to take the corner. Thankfully doesn't hit anyone, but does get blocked by Ella Lloyd going off the track, and then falls down herself. So 3 people affected the start from there. Then, meanwhile, back to the actual race itself, and Dorian Pan is going round the outside of Felbermeyer to take the lead of the race. But just as she does, the safety car comes out. She has to slot back into P2, but showing some tremendous pace from the get-go was Dorian Pan in this race. Safety car's out for about 3 laps. And as it comes back in, Dorian Pan takes the lead at the end of lap 3. But Felbermeyer is not just letting her get away with it. 2 corners later, going into turn 1 on lap 4, she takes it right back. A fantastic move from her there, has to be said. There was a hell of a lot of weaving from Felbermeyer, especially on that last long straight. As we go through Sector 3, which is basically just that straight and a couple corners to the finish. That long straight there, a lot of weaving, and she would get a warning for this. And when she was told you've got a warning for weaving, she was like, what the hell? What weaving? What are you talking about? It's like, how about all the weaving you just did? We all saw it. It's on telly. It's like, very obvious weaving. Didn't get a penalty, but there you go. Anyway, great defensive placement from her, despite the weaving. Going into turn 1 in the exact same place where Pan lost the lead, Felbermeyer defends that position beautifully, but then locks up, giving Dorian Pan the position there. And what has happened here, because Felbermeyer had been defending so aggressively, there was quite the queue behind them. It wasn't just her and Pan out to the lead. So as Dorian Pan takes past, pushed it down to second, there was this really, really weird moment where Felbermeyer was right behind Dorian Pan, while second place was Aurea Nobles. Nobles is now alongside her, and it looked like Pan was like, you know what, I'm going to slow her down a little bit so she loses P2 as well. Maybe a little bit left over from the weaving earlier on. Who knows? But yeah, it all goes a bit wrong for Felbermeyer here. In a matter of like half a lap, she lost P2 to Nobles, P3 to Pomoski, P4 to Chambers, and P5 to Vug. And it was about half a lap. And then there was just a huge lock-up as well. It just did not go well. I've written something here. No idea what it says. There's the huge... there's a huge queue. I've already mentioned that. Notes, I'm already ahead of you. Also what happened here was she had a little bit of damage. Now, the way these F1 Academy cars are built is there is, on the front nose section, as it goes flat towards the cockpit, there is a part which you can just lift up, and you can have make changes in there. I think you have to lift that up to change the front wing, if I remember correctly. But that bit is designed to just be lifted up. Not super easily, but that's what it's designed to do. And at some point during this moment, the front right-hand side of it had popped up a little bit, and she would get a black and orange flag later on for this to come in and change that. So Felbermeyer who had a fantastic start, who I think had an incredible overtake to retake the lead, who did some fantastic defensive driving to try and keep that lead with her, in a matter of half a lap, went from full-on... sorry, I'm getting emotional here. Went from full-on hero to zero stuff, but nonetheless, a fantastic job from her, I think has to be said, and a lot of things outside of her control led to the downfall of her in this race, but still, a fantastic job. Meanwhile, Palmowski passes Nobles for P2. Chikonte had spun. They were 3 wide. It was her, Chong, and someone else I haven't written down. And as they came into the sector 2 after the second DRS zone, she cut back in. Chong was there, hit her, spun. It happens. Chong was also out at this point. This is when the safety car comes out. Felbermeyer has the black and orange flag to fix that damage. The black and orange flag has been a bit of a talking point. I think it was 2 years ago now, where it seemed like Kevin Magnussen would just get them over and over and over again. And very much at the time, the way the F1 discourse around that ended was that the FIA have to check with the teams if the teams feel it is serious damage. And if the teams feel it's serious damage, then they come in. Of course, the team are always going to say no. I imagine in F1 Academy, it's a little bit different, and it's just by the FIA's discretion. I feel like this, of course, she did have damage, but I don't feel it was the kind of thing that could have ended a race or caused anyone else harm or anything like that. So a bit harsh. I mean, the upside for her was that she was behind the safety car at this point, and it wouldn't take too long to fix. I mean, she lost a few positions, though, it has to be said. Safety car ends on lap 9 of 13, and we have back-to-back beautiful overtakes here. We have a fantastic millimetre-perfect move from Chloe Chambers around the outside of turn 11 on Nobles for P3 on lap 10. Then on lap 11, Nobles, unfortunately, is the victim again, this time from Maya Vug. Oh, it's beautiful. So going into turn 11 again, Maya Vug moves to the outside of the track. Nobles goes to defend. Just before the braking zone, Vug sells the dummy, cuts right back, is now on the inside, gets that move done, takes P4, that's on lap 11. Perfect stuff. Then for the last few laps, it is just again and again and again, Palmowski cutting down the lead of Dorian Pan. She's right with her. Of course, there's no DRS in F1 Academy. If there had been, there might have been a move here. There wasn't in the end. Dorian Pan crosses the line, it takes the win, what was a fantastic race. Palmowski just 0.4 seconds behind her. Chloe Chambers a fantastic third place. Maya Vug in fourth. Leah Block did cross the line in fifth, but eventually took a penalty, and I can't remember why, but she did take a penalty. I'm going to Google it in the background, because this was yesterday, and I can't remember what happened. Leah Block penalty. Yes, she took a penalty and she would finish 10th. So what was her best result since Singapore last year for leading the track and gaining an advantage during her battle with Tina Hausman. There we go. Thank you very much, Google. What was her best result since Singapore last year, after what has been quite a disappointing start to the season? She now doesn't get anything, so she's in 10th. Nina Gaidman gets 5th, Nobles was 6th, Hausman 7th, Ferreira in 8th, and Krohn in 9th. But what a wonderful F1 Academy race that was. I don't think I can remember a better race than that from F1 Academy to this point. You may think differently, and I'm sure you will correct me. The race that we've had, the race that we've had today, definitely will not be in anyone's top 10 lists, because it's the Miami race number 2. And Chloe Chambers had a fantastic pole position with Palmowski alongside her. Now, the qualifying session for this was an interesting one again, because again, started dry, moved to wet. So someone like a Maya Vug, our championship leader, she was down in 10th, getting caught out by the weather. Dorian Pan is trailing Vug by just 1 point now after the sprint race. She was starting this race in 3rd, but my God, the rain is back with a vengeance, because it is raining very, very, very heavily. The cars go out to do some formation laps behind the safety car, and straight away I'm thinking, this race is not happening. Because in Sector 2, it was great. You look at Sector 2, you go, that's fine. We can race here. It's all good. Sector 1, Sector 3, oh my goodness, visibility was nothing. There was a helicopter shot of them going over the start-finish line. They were basically driving through a river. I mean, the fact that it took so long for the race directors to decide that we're not racing here was the most shocking thing. Because it seems like in F1, whenever these kind of things happen, it's a very quick decision of, this can't happen. Like when we look at the sprint yesterday, how many times did they go around behind the safety car? Was it 1 or 2? And they were like, yep, this can't happen. It took a very long time, and during that time we had Felbermeyer go off at the final corner on the formation lap. Havada went off on the final corner of the formation lap, and Lloyd went off. Felbermeyer went off again. Then there was the red flag. Then they're in the pits. And then the race itself was cancelled for what I believe is the second time in F1 Academy history that a race has been cancelled. Now, last time, I believe it was Qatar, and it was because they were fixing a barrier, and what they did was in Abu Dhabi, they had 3 races instead of 2 to make up for that there. Will they do that again? Their next race is out in Canada. We'll have to wait and see. What this means, though, is we head into Canada with a very, very interesting championship picture with Dorian Pan just 1 point behind Maya Vug. The person I feel sorry for is Chloe Chambers. Now, if you've been watching my videos on F1 Academy for a while, you will know I am a big fan of Chloe Chambers. I think she's absolutely fantastic. And she had a fabulous pole here, and I was excited to see what she was going to do. Unfortunately, we will never know. But that was F1 Academy for this week. I don't know who to give star of F1 Academy. I don't know. When this happened in F2 in Australia, I just didn't give one out because there wasn't 2 races, so I might do the same. I'm just going to do no stars this week because that's how I feel. I'm writing it down. It's official. There you go. Hopefully, the F1 race will take place in how long they got? About 2 hours. We will see. Apparently more rain was coming though, so maybe a delayed one. We will see, but should be very exciting nonetheless because it's a wet weather race at a street track. People make mistakes here when it's dry. I think we're in for something that should be quite fun. That is, if it goes ahead. So I will see you then. Until then, though, have a good one. Goodbye.